I'd just like to pay my respects to Brian and Bruce, who are my mentors and used to do this and tapped me on the shoulder a few years ago and said it's too bloody hot to walk around and do this, and I don't disagree with them with the weather we've had this weekend. So well done, fellas. And Calvin's come on board to give me a hand this year. So Calvin and I built a plane each, so we must have qualified for this job. Okay, it's interesting this year. We didn't have as many participants. A lot of the Queenslanders got flooded out. A lot of people it was too hot for the pilot, too hot for the plane. Despite that, we've had a pretty good turnout, but there has been a lot of challenges for pilots this year. So, and especially if you built a new plane, you probably don't really feel like flying it in these conditions. You're a little bit cautious. So, first award goes to Graham and Lisa Harvey for their Glass Air Super RG, Super 2 RG. That's a beautiful machine. I just need one of you to come up and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, here comes Graham. Okay, you can both come up. Yeah, this is a fantastic build. They spent 20 years building it, and someone said to me that they needed to get divorced 3 times to spend 20 years building a plane and married again. But it was a beautiful machine, and it was a pleasure to look at. And just hearing the story about how they painted it themselves in Bunnings marquees and waited for the temperature to be right and just did everything right. And I could not fault this machine at all. It was fantastic. So well done, guys. I get too comfortable. And unfortunately tonight, the recipient of this award, Cliff Prinzhorn, with an RV8A, a fantastic machine. He's not here tonight. He's got mobility issues in the wheelchair, and so he's opted not to come tonight. But that's a fantastic machine as well, and he spent many years building that, and he's built it in a wheelchair and then later with no legs. So it doesn't get better than that, and that's an absolute pleasure to meet him today and have a talk with him. So that's the best metal aircraft for Cliff, and I'm going to get Gary Weeks. Nearly forgot. Gary's from the same stable over there at Wedderburn, and he's a good mate of his, so we're going to present him with the award on Cliff's behalf.
Cliff's actually from Maitland, he's not from Wedderburn, but I know Cliff pretty well, and I'm delighted to be able to accept this award on Cliff's behalf. He's a champion guy, and you would have seen him out there in the wheelchair today, so thanks.
And Graham and Lisa, that's why I said one of you can come up, because there was a prize for each of you tonight. You guys have collected the Concourse d'Elegance for the most beautiful, best presented aircraft here today. I think you did build it together. So yeah, fantastic, well done guys. If you get a chance, guys, to have a look at it, you won't see a better presented aircraft, especially the paint.
We want to hear something, you've got to say something, please.
Yeah, thanks Gary, thanks very much Matt. Just want to say a few words. I guess it's been a 22-year-old build. It's been a long time coming. I want to thank my wife for her perseverance and her encouragement and her dedication to the build. I'd like to thank, and the assistants of course, I'd like to thank the Glass Air community worldwide, because they came to the fore when 3 days after our kit left the factory went bankrupt. So we had a lot of parts missing, so we had to rally around and find all the vendors who were making parts and approach them to see whether they could make parts for us, which they did. I'd like to thank the people at Wedderburn for all their encouragement and help getting the plane flying. That's again a completely different phase of it. It's a lovely plane, but it's not flying yet, and getting it flying was a bit of a thing. Especially Peter Calvert, for example, at Wedderburn, and also Kevin Hayden, who particularly helped us out getting the plane in the air. Lastly, I'd like to thank Gary Weeks, who was the test pilot. After not flying for 20 years, we decided that it's better to have somebody else who knows what they're doing, fly the aircraft first. And so thanks very much, Gary, for that. And that's it. Thanks very much for the AAA, for the opportunity. And I'll pass it over to my wife, who obviously wants to say
Just like one observation to the group here. Everybody who's built their own aircraft knows that it's built out of blood, sweat and tears and the generosity of everybody else around us. So thank you everybody. It's amazing. And we're so happy to be flying, and thank you Gary, because you did great for us.
And the next award goes to Cliff Princehorn again, because naturally enough, when you don't have any legs, you need to make some modifications to your plane. And he's made some amazing modifications to the plane. He had to carve a chunk out of the side, basically, so he could get in. And that's, a big structural issue. And he went the right way and got an engineer and spent a lot of money and time, and they re-engineered the whole fuselage so they could kind of cut a panel out, so not only the canopy open, but he's got a little panel that comes down as well. So for that, and of course, you had to use the rudder when you've got no feet. So what he's done is he's put like a helicopter collective on the side, and that's the rudder left and right. And then you've got a hand on the joystick, so how are you going to operate the throttle? So within a fingertip of the end of this rudder, he's got the three controls in front of him there, so he can operate the rudder and do the throttle and everything at the same time. And then how are you going to use the brakes? So on that collective, he's got like a motorbike handbrake on that for the left wheel, and on the right wheel he's got another motorbike handbrake to speak on the joystick. So a lot going on there, and he's done all that himself and had it engineered. So we're sorry he can't be here tonight, but we're videoing and we're going to send it to him. But yeah, amazing story. And he's got no change out of 80, so he's doing pretty well. So
yeah, I love the monoplane. Cliff's got a Bonanza as well, 33 Bonanza that he's been flying for a long time before he, like Cassie, was building the RV-8A. As I said, he's a champion. There's probably plenty of people that do know Cliff, and he's an absolutely amazing guy. I worked with his brother in my career, who's also a classic Sonic, we call him, and he flew Mirages in the early days. So, yeah, Cliff will be stoked with these awards. Thank you, Simon.
And we have our best exhibitor category, and this year was good to award this gentleman who's a great bloke and an importer of fine flying machines and affiliated parts, and also does a bit of ATC. So James, come up. For his marvellously presented Zenith 750.
Thank you. There you go, mate. Well done.
You want to say anything to us, James?
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out and helping us celebrate the 70th anniversary of the AAA. The heat needs to be mentioned at some point. It was arduous, but it was terrific. People took the time to come out and visit the exhibit, showed real interest, and I'll be back at the next AusFly. I would miss it. I love the cruise. I love meeting people again. So yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
No worries, well done, mate. And last but not least is the People's Choice Award. I'm not sure if you saw in your welcome pack, you had to go around to all exhibitors and get some signatures if you wanted to win a prize, which I'm sure will be mentioned in due course. But the People's Choice Award that the people loved was VHLDL, which is the duck. And I know it's a canard, but it doesn't say what. Does anyone know? A long easy with the beautiful presentation on it. So well done. There you go to Lindsay's on his way up there. Now while he's on his way up, don't be scared. I know there's guys and girls that have finished planes this year and they're looking for reasons not to enter them. There's no reason not to enter your plane. So just if there's a rivet missing or there's something not quite right, that's not a reason. So make sure you lift your game next year. We get a few more entrants because we know we're out there. Well done, Lindsay. No worries. Would you like to say anything?
To the people. People's Choice Award.
What he forgot to mention at Mangalore, for years and years and years, we had 23 long engines in Mangalore in 91. Did formation and that as well, so.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I've built this along with Holy Purple when there was an era where you didn't build from plans, you didn't build a prefab quick build. Build the plans, build the airplane out of composite. And I've rebuilt it twice now. And I can keep up to the 180 horse composite or 27 litres an hour. Okay. Thank you all. And there's been a lot of history of AAA that hasn't been mentioned tonight. Obviously, time running. So,
Happy birthday.
Thanks, guys. Get your planes ready for next year. We'll see you next year.